We can't just hold a tent revival and expect a move of God to happen. I wanted you to know that there have been altars placed in Anderson. It's not what it looks like. We're not serving Baal, but we're serving ourselves. We're not serving a false god like Zeus or some mythology, but we're serving our own pleasures. We're serving addiction. We're serving our own worldly pursuits. We're serving our own gain. And that is why a drought has been in Anderson. So I want to go back to the beginning of this, and I want to kind of hit on certain points of this, and we'll just talk through it. So back at 17 and 18, there was a nation. This nation was in a drought, and the reason it was in a drought was because he abandoned the commandments of the Lord. This word abandonment literally means he traded for, or he sold for a certain price. And what he did was he sold the commandments of God and the blessings of God and the things of God for his own desires and his own lustful desires and his passions. And he traded the nation so he could be satisfied. The drought isn't just a physical dryness, but it's a spiritual dryness. This drought that took place was just an event that took place because he had strayed away from God. And so once you do something in the spiritual, it affects the physical. And so this dryness was, he should have recognized that, the God that I've been serving this whole time is a God of rain, and it's not raining. So he should have realized that he was serving a false God, but he was so consumed in his lustful desires and his greed and his pleasures, he couldn't even recognize what was really going on. So I sit here and ask you, Anderson, what has got us so consumed on ourselves that we can't even really realize what's going on? How come Anderson has been behind in its time for so long, and we can't become prosperous and we can't grow again? Why is this? Why is this taking place in our own lives? Why is this taking place in Anderson? We don't need a revival to happen. We need an awakening to happen. We need the church to quit acting like they're so scared to function how they were created to function. We need to start casting these things out. But you know what? You know what needs to happen? We don't need to necessarily cast out all these demons. I mean, that does need to take place, but what needs to take place more than that is maturity. We need to start maturing as believers. The reason that nothing has changed, you can't cure a demon, and you can't cast something out that has to mature. I mean, that's it. You can't mature yourself out of being demon possessed or oppressed. That has to be cast out. And you can't function the way. We can't just hold a tent revival and expect a move of God to happen. This spiritual drought took place, or this physical drought took place in this story. Well, it was because he abandoned the laws of God. He abandoned God altogether. So if you're not connected to the source, you're not going to get what the source has to offer.